Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gersh1 and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue with part 2 of the Black Templars. So let's go straight into 40 Facts about the Black Templars. The power armor of the Black Templars is predominantly black and white. The black color is a sign that, like Sigismund and the black armored chaplains of other chapters, the Black Templars serve the Emperor directly and with deep faith. The shoulder plate of the Black Templar power armor depicts the chapter badge of the Black Templars, the Maltese Cross, with colors dependent on their ranks and role within the chapter. The cross depicted on the shoulder plates of the Black Templars mirrors the emblem of the Knights of the ancient Christian Crusades during the early 2nd millennia. The actual application of the color scheme varies across Astartes, and individual Black Templars usually decorate their power armor with devotional imageries and purity seals. Black Templars tech marines and tank crews have a predominantly red color scheme, the color favored by the servants of the machine god. However, they still display their chapter colors so not to anger the machine spirit of their tanks and armor. Aboard the Eternal Crusader, the battle barge that serves the High Marshal and the mobile fortress monastery of the chapter, lies the Hall of Records, a vast archive where a legion of scribes and servitors toil to record the history and deeds of the Black Templars. Such duties of record keeping would normally fall to the chapter's librarians, but the Black Templars chapter boasts not a single psychic space marine amongst their ranks. It is uncertain how or when the Black Templars ceased to field librarians, for with their disappearance, much of the chapter's history was also lost. Outsiders suggest that the chapter came to worship the Emperor as a god, unlike most of their fellow members of the Adeptus Astartes. They took his decree at the Council of Nicaea to disband their librarious divisions as holy law. Some scholars point to the Black Templars' final battle to end the Calexis heresy in the 34th millennium, and the apocalyptic psychic death scream that tore through the warp after the slaying of the Cacodominus, as another possible explanation of the lack of librarians. Whatever the truth, the Black Templars have come to accept the loss of their librarians as part of the Emperor's divine plan. If the Emperor decides to once again bless the Black Templars with librarians, they will embrace it. Most Black Templars use devotion chains to bind their weapons to their fists on the eve of battle, removing them only once victory is achieved. This tradition harkens back to bygone era of the Great Crusade. The tradition of using chains to bind weapons to one's arm was originally started by the World Eaters when they were still the loyalist 12th Legion. This tradition, which eventually spread to the other Space Marine legions after its popularity, had extended beyond the World Eaters' fighting pits. Sigismund, first captain of the Imperial Fists, took to the custom with his usual zeal, binding his knightly weapons to his wrists on dense black chains. He had made an impressive name for himself within the bowels of the Primarch Angron's flagship, Conquer, dueling with the 12th Legion's finest warriors late in the Great Crusade. Unlike the devotion chains, the Chain of Zeal is no such fleeting token. It is secured to the weapon and armor with a permanent weld that lasts as long as the Space Marine serves. Because taking off a gauntlet with the chain still attached is a shameful act that entails great dishonor, the wearer of the Chain of Zeal must keep his armored glove donned and weapon in hand every minute for the rest of his life. The Black Templars have many relics like the Armor of Faith. The Armor of Faith is the traditional name given to the suit of artificer armor gifted to the Emperor's champion, chosen from the finest artificer armor available to the chapter, and then inscribed with sacred words. The armor offers greater protection than any ordinary suit of power armor, allowing the Emperor's champion to complete his holy duty. Such is the protection of its wards that some blows and rounds are simply turned aside or flashed to nothing in a blaze of divine power. Armor of the Remorseless Crusader. This suit of artificer armor is one of a trinity crafted by the artificers of the Black Templars. Each suit is gilded with shards of the warp and said to have the blood of saints layered into the 1,000 folds of its construction. The armor of the Pitiless Crusader and the Fearless Crusader remain within the chapter, but one suit, the armor of the Remorseless Crusader, was given to the Death Watch. Black Sword of Sigismund is the legendary black sword wielded by the first captain Sigismund, the first High Marshal of the Black Templars, and it is kept in a place of honor in the most sacred chapel of the Black Templars chapter. The traditional weapon of the Emperor's champion is the Black Sword, a massive two-handed power sword blessed by the chapter chaplains. It becomes a deadly weapon in the hands of the chosen of the Black Templars. Such is the skill with which this weapon has been crafted that the Emperor's champion can either wield it with two hands or one-handed as a normal Astartes power sword. Sword of Dorn is the blade that was carried by Rogel Dorn, Primarch of the Imperial Fist Legion, and was shattered when Dorn broke it over his knee after returning from Horus's flagship, Vengeful Spirit, with the broken body of the Emperor at the end of the Battle of Terra. Dorn vowed never to wield the blade again, as a penance for his failure to protect the Emperor. The Imperial Fist Legion's first captain, Sigismund, kept the shattered blade and had part of it forged into the weapon known as the Sword of the High Marshals. The rest of the sword resides in the halls of the Eternal Crusader, the battle barge and flagships of the greatest of the Black Templars' crusade fleets. As a sign of his office, the current High Marshal wields the potent chapter relic known as the Sword of the High Marshals. It was decreed by the Black Templars' founder, Sigismund, that the weapon carried by the High Marshals would forever remind them of their duty to atone for their Primarch's failure by incorporating the pieces of Dorn's sword in its forging. Black Templar's brother sergeant, Narvel, bore the chainsword Witchblade into battle against Eldar pirates on the world of Skoth in the Exiden sector. What started as a small skirmish escalated when a webway portal opened on a ridge above the fighting. Through it stepped a black-robed Farseer, and behind him, a stream of Eldar reinforcements. Navrel led 3 squads to eliminate the new threat. Crackling balefire and slicing shurikens decimated his men, but Narvel fought through to cut down the Farseer. The portal snapped shut, and Navrel's chainsword slew many more Eldar that day. It was this deed that led to Navrel's transfer to the Death Watch, bringing his weapon, now named Witchbane, with him. One of the most famous crusades that the chapter had embarked on was the Howling, where the Black Templars chapter ended the Heroclix heresy. The heresy was an imperial conflict that broke out in the 401st year of the 34th millennium, after the Xeno-cyborg known as Catacodominus used his formidable psychic presence to control the populace of 1,300 imperial planetary systems. The zealous Black Templars called a crusade against the vile aliens and ended the heresy when they executed the leader. His death scream echoed and amplified through the warp, burning out the minds of billions of astropaths and distorting the signal of the Astronomicon. Millions upon millions of Imperial void ships were lost in the resulting upheaval, and entire subsectors slid into barbarism without the dictates of the Adeptus Terra to guide them. Another notable crusade is the second purging of Lestrade, which occurred in the 543rd year of the 36th millennium, as part of the Athalalor Crusade, under the command of Marshal Gervhard of the Black Templars. Lestrade had become a place of pilgrimage, and for centuries the faithful had come to bear witness to such spectacles as the Hill of Heretics and the Plain of Purity. Marshal Gervhard and the Black Templars of the Athalalor Crusade had come to Lestrade to take heart from the planet's potent display of faith from the past, but were horrified by what they found. The population had turned to barbaric blood rituals and human sacrifices in search of a genetic perfection. The Black Templars realized that the rituals of the people of Lestrade had too much in common with the heretical chaos cult worships of the chaos gods. Marshal Gervhard ordered the planet cleansed of its degenerated inhabitants before continuing the crusade. After 4 standard years of fighting, the warriors of Marshal Gervhard forced the remaining forces of Lestrade back onto the plains of purity. There, they made their last stand at the Hill of the Heretic before their army was utterly destroyed by the Black Templars. And those were 40 facts about the Black Templars. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to come out with a part 3 because there's more Crusades to talk about. And thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. If you are already a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you can get more awesome lore videos. You guys are awesome. By liking the videos, you're telling us that you guys want more videos. So please do that and stay tuned for the announcement of the giveaway coming pretty soon. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.